Watching races is a real art. Obviously, I tend to sort of crunch numbers and do my speed figures and my pace ratios and so on, and that's a valid approach too. But having a good eye and being able to interpret what has happened in races with a view to following those horses in the future when they get the right setup is also a fun and legitimate way to unearth some potential winners. So,
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Coastal Boys. It looks like it's very warm where you are, Mark, with the jersey on. And
yeah, it's a nippy Cape Town winter's morning.
eventually found you guys, the winter.
Yeah, that's for sure. And a bit of rain, which is much needed.
I believe so. I mean, can't they just switch it from Quebec to your side? It's amazing how the rain hasn't stopped there. It's
Yeah.
just crazy. We're back at Kenilworth on the winter course, aptly named. A shorter run-in than the normal course. We have an 8-race program with a couple of interesting races and a few races with newbies. Quite a lot of newbies debuting tomorrow, and really some interesting comments from their trainers, and see if we can find any insight between us.
Yes.
There we go. Welcome to Kenilworth, a maiden plate for fillies and mares over the 1,000 meters. The betting is Viridian Beauty from 5-1 all the way into 28-10. Peach Cobbler 3-1, 4-1 Nadia and Arena, and median of support for number 9, the first time at Desert Ice, from 7s into 5s, 7-1 Senorita Lolita, write your own ticket, the rest.
Yeah. Look, Andrew, obviously you need to monitor the firsters very closely in the prelims, market watchers advised. I've just created a short list of 4 runners who have shown decent form, starting with number 1, Peach Cobbler, for the very high percentage Candice Bass Aldo Dome combo. And this Buffalo Bill Cody filly has run nicely, other than a no-show on debut. Each successive start has been an improvement. The inside was favoured last week when the track cut up. So I think those low numbers down the straight could be helpful. Last time, horse was drawn very badly at Durbanville, and still, in fact, everything went wrong there. He clipped heels and cast a shoe. So I think she should go close. I do respect the market support for Viridian Ruby. Michelle Ricks has her yard in good nick, and this one ran well on debut to World of Secrets. So horses 1 and 2 must go in, and then 7 and 10, Nadia Narina, What a Winter filly, who was supported on debut. That was 119 days ago, comes back, should have strengthened in the interim. And Senorita Lolita, another inform yard, Lucinda Woodruff. 2 nice starts to Dream Trip, and then let the side down after being punted at Durbanville behind Juliet of Verona. But a few horses have come out of that form line and done okay. So, yeah, obviously a lot of the horses are unexposed. Maybe you can shed some light on a few other contenders. But I thought it's between horses 1, 2, 7, and 10. Of course, that's the opening leg of the bipod.
Yeah, Mark, much the same. I mean, let me read what the trainer's saying. There only seem to be 2 positive comments out of the newcomers from the trainers, the trainer comments. The only 3 first-timers. I'll read them to you. Frozen Asset, a speedy type of place chance. That's number 5, Frozen Asset, Justin Snaith. Number 9, Desert Ice, where the one there's been a smidgen of support, shows good work at home, place chance. That's quite a positive comment for Vaughan Marshall. Burnout, Candice Bass, nice filly, will need the experience. I thought it was a straight shootout between 1 and 2. Peach Cobbler being number 1 from the Candice Bass yard, Aldo de Mayo +1. And number 2, the Impruder, Viridian Beauty. There was huge support on debut from 14, 16-1 into about 7, 8-1. Just got a little bit lost in the race, and I think was drawn 8 out of 12 that day, and now it looks to be the positive side, the better side on Kenilworth track from the last run. So that would be my first pick, number 2, Viridian Beauty. And I don't think there's much more. I think you'd get through the bipod with 1 and 2 and just take cognizance if there's any big money for either Frozen Asset or the further follow-up for number 9, Desert Ice. And please be aware that Andrew Fortune took a tumble yesterday in Quebec, so he won't be riding on the Wednesday. He won't be riding tomorrow, and that there'll be a new jockey. They'll have to find a new jockey for the first timer, Frozen Asset. And also the one we haven't mentioned, you mentioned, but I haven't said anything, is number 7, Nadia Narina. Was 28-10 on debut. It was a bit soft in the market that day. Played up very badly, lost 2 lengths at the start, and she ran on nicely as well. She could come forward from that run as well. But I think my first pick in not a deep race would be number 2, Viridian Beauty, the one that's going to improve. Moving on swiftly to race number 2. Join the Racecourse Turf Club maiden plate for all maidens over 1,200 meters. The betting is Letitia, 33-10. 7-2 Miyabi King, 14-1 into 6-1, number 3, Sukhoi for the Vaughan Marshall Yard, 7-1 the first timer, Lord Chamberlain, and 7-1 Royal Clinton, 10s and better the rest. And if I look through the market, there's been no support for any of the other first timers. I'll read you the trainers' comments quickly, if I may,
Mhm.
as
Useful.
this one scroll to the carry
Andrew,
on.
I think it will be particularly helpful in this race because of the horses that have run. I mean, they really haven't shown much signs of life, so this could definitely be a race for a debutant to
Come
win.
forward.
Yeah.
There aren't very many positives. Lord Chamberlain will need the experience in Canada. Big City Roller will need the experience. Interesting, there'd been a smidgen of support for Sukhoi, but Vaughan Marshall was more positive of his horse in the first. This one, he said, Green will need further.
Mhm.
Tango Master from the Snaith Yard will be green on debut. Bartnell and Snaith, nice type. One to follow over further. Canvas Bass, Augusta Rouge, very big horse. Big Action will probably need further. Daily Park for the Indian Yard, nice colt, needs further. Ules Camera, Patrick Ray, nice type, doing well, expecting a nice run. That's interesting. That was priced up at 25-1. That seems quite positive.
Mhm.
Anton Marcus. Adam Marcus, give me the Colt, give me the jackhammer, shows ability, but will need racing experience. And Justin Snaith, Miyabi King, nice type, will go well. And that's currently sitting as almost joint favourite. Of the raced pair, I do prefer Letitia. Has done nothing wrong of late. And 4 starts for 1/6, improved from that, and 3/3 of the. But has been very weak in the market every time this horse has run. I mean, the one time he was open joint favourite and he went out to 20-1. And he
Mm.
did run on that day behind Born of Fire. I think I prefer him over the Royal Clinton, who's already had 11 starts for 4 places. That's reached your rule. I think just if you're a player, just take cognizance of the betting. I mean, it's a bit tough. I mean, you can get through the bipod by just putting both of the horses that have run, because it counts. But for place accumulators, it can be very dangerous. So just before you take a perm, see if there's any big money for something which you might have to add. I mean, I can't fault the breeding of Miyabi King, a
Mm.
Kingman out of Miyabi Gold by Silvana, which does make me think that more classic type will probably need further, but a solid breeding. And also you'll have drawn 11, and you'll also have to find out who the jockey is, because I'm not quite sure. Not a, That's all we can really add. I haven't heard anything from any of my sources. And anything you might want to add, Mark?
Not really, Andrew. This is a awkward race. Letizia got a speed figure in the mid 70s, and there's nothing flashy about that when running on behind Rashetu. And Royal Clinton hasn't even attained that number from 11 starts. So neither are that inspiring. And you've already summarized the fact that there's not a great deal of conviction behind the trainers with their firsters. So I would, sorry to say, put a big question mark next to this race. I'd certainly duck it from a punting perspective, but you know that the guys are going to have to be sharp when they construct their PA tickets.
Yeah. Moving on, let's hope we survive that if we play any tote. Race number 3. Smallish fields, but highly competitive, most races actually. Bet with a tote maiden plate for all maidens over 1200. The betting is first timer. Rain in France, shortened from 5 to 2 to 16 to 10. Saratoga Sunrise has drifted out all the way to 7 to 2, as is 4th of July. Shortener, another first timer, brother in arms, from
Yeah.
sixes into fours, 16 to 1, and better the rest. The trainer's comments, we'll get back to that, Marcus. Just get on.
Mhm.
So I just have to re-scroll down every time.
It's very useful. Thanks for sharing, Andrew. It does give some insights.
Race number 3, brother in arms from the Vaughan Marshall Yard. Nice colt possibly needs further. Grey Knight looking for further Justin Snaith. Bright Fate Justin Snaith. Nice type, but looking for a lot more ground. Dean Cannemeyer, always a man who doesn't say too much about his first timers. Nice type will need the run. Warrior's
Mhm.
Legacy from the McLaughlin Yard will need further. Rain in France, Justin Snaith. Very positive. Smart colt will go close. And Candace's Red Hot Rifle will need further and the experience.
Mhm. Yeah, I think 2 against the field here, Andrew. This is the first leg of the pick 6. Rain in France is related to that excellent race mare Rain in Holland, and also It's Raining William, who was a difficult customer, but a very, very talented sort. So the blood is there. The comments are very positive, and that one must definitely go in. And 4th of July got quite a nice rating behind Rachetu because he finished off really smartly, just 23.2 for the come home sectional. And I think this one should improve second up for Greg Elliott. Might be drawn on the wrong side of the course, so that is a bit of a query, but that was a very solid debut. So he should definitely be included as well. And, depending on how you structure pick 6s and so on, of the horses that have run, I think 4th of July should get home first. And interestingly, Brothers in Arms is a half brother to Rascallion. It was a horse that I was very closely involved in my racing manager days. And Rascallion was just such a stalwart. He acquitted himself really well in grade ones, over different distances. He was incredibly versatile, a game, tough campaigner. And so anything out of the mare Safala, with that breeding must be taken very, very seriously indeed. So those would be the 3 horses that I would focus on. Those 2 firsters, Brothers in Arms and Rain in France. And then best of the raced horses, 4th of July.
Perfect. I mean, the race 2 might be a pointer. We see how Letitia goes because
Mm.
there's a direct form from the one you've mentioned,
Yes,
number
with
12, 4th of
Rachetu.
July, Rachetu form line. I can't really add much. I think Saratoga Sunrise is an improver. Third run, Craig Zaki on board for Dean Cannemeyer. Race green on debut. Stayed on well. I think if there's no first time up here, I think we'll run him. I think he's my first pick in the race. I wasn't sold on 4th of July. Second run gelding was 50 to 1 on debut. Surprised
Mm.
them. Was slow away, and if he's slow away, drawn 12, might just do his chances. Won't add to his chances. But I think first timers, big, some well-bred animals, some expensive horses, and I think you'd have to take cognizance of the betting. But my first pick would be the one that's run before Saratoga Sunrise. In the middle of the pack, Craig and champion jockey can choose which way he likes to go. We'll move on to a maiden plate, Lucky Fish Chili Heat maiden plate. We're stepping up in trip to 1,600 meters now. The betting is 5 to 2 Captain's Angel, 7 to 2 Catch Me, 4 to 1 Waterfront, 5 to 1 Fractal, 5 to 1 Warrior of Destiny, 7 to 1 Zinfan Morris. Write your own ticket, the rest. I've put up as one of my each way bets. I've put up Fractal. I've followed this horse. I'm jumping over the cliff once again with with him from the Shane Humby yard. Andrew Fortune was supposed to ride. I'm not sure who I will get. Form has been solid. Debut ran third. Something happened when their money was down after the first gelding behind Witch Hazel's come out to win 2 races. Then they had the apprentice on board, just didn't get there. As he hit him at about 200 meters, he shifted in. Otherwise, I think he probably wins the race. And I thought it would be a free each way bet. I just hope we get a decent jockey. And I think a big run. I wasn't sold on Captain's Angel, even though I ran in the Langerman last start. And at 2/3 before that, stayed on strongly. Looks like we'll need the trip. But the Langerman are often, drifted from 14 to 1 to 50 to 1 that day behind Aqua Calido. I don't know, has to show me a bit more form. I'm going for the older horse, even though Captain's Angel is getting 3 kilos weight allowance. Of the rest, Catch Me's done nothing wrong. Improved with every start. I thought that was quite a big runner, but stepping up in trip. Looks like needs the ground. Hawamba almost captured by Captain L. And the other one that I thought was going to give the most cheek to my horse is another outsider. It's
Mhm.
getting close to your 10-run mark. He's number 3, Warrior of Destiny.
Yeah.
Second run blinkers. Callum Murray now rides, drawn 3. Has been big prices, but there was a lot of money for this horse last time and ran second behind Royal Light. They never saw in no other horse saw the front of the Royal Light. When it was chasing all the time Warrior of Destiny and never got there. I think he trifectas and quartets. But I've put up Fractal. I know the yard do think he's a decent sort, and let's hope he can get his nose in front.
Interesting. Coming up with Fractal, and hopefully you get a decent pilot there, just to do the right thing. My shortlist did not include Fractal. I went
Oh,
2, 7,
unbelievable.
and 5. What a surprise. Zanfan Maurice got a nice figure, actually, last time. When I say nice figure, got, a solid speed figure for a maiden in a major centre, staying on nicely behind It's Good, It's Nice, who actually ran stone last in the Langerman. And so I think, as an older horse drawn towards the inside, he should give it a good shake, but he's no star. Official mid rating of Captain's Angel has run some decent races and was outclassed in the Langerman. On a line through that Hero's Journey run, Warrior of Destiny does also come into the equation and should also go well racing handy from a low draw. That is one that you may want to use as a backup. The third shortlist horse for me was Catch Me, who has participated in some key races and has acquitted himself quite well, behind runaway winner like Dynamite, who ran well subsequently in a handicap. Witch Hazel, as we will discuss later, I think is a top division horse. So, finishing 5 lengths adrift of those rivals is not too shabby. So I think he comes out of key races. He is on the upgrade. So those are the horses that I would focus on. Catch Me, Captain's Angel, and Zanfan Maurice in no particular order. Maybe you can try and sneak through on your belly in pick sixes and jackpots with those 3 horses, but I am mindful
Excuse
of
me?
your find there. I need to just add a little disclaimer there. Mindful of Andrew Riddle's find, because your arrows have been going very, very well, flying straight and true. It must be said, bro.
So of yours, Marcus, we've been double teaming quite well.
Yeah,
So
that's
we
it.
just hope the form
Keep
can continue.
going.
The only question I have for you, when last did Pete Steyn or Andre Steyn have a winner? That
Yeah,
is my only worry with those horses.
yeah, they have been cold. Yeah. One of the stats that I really find very, very useful is just to look at the box scores and the last 30 that trainers have saddled. The punters might find this quite helpful. As a rule of thumb, anything over 7 or 8 wins and seconds out of the last 30, to me, that indicates a stable inform. So, whatever that is, if it's 5 wins and 2 seconds, or even 3 wins and 5 seconds, their horses are primed, they're in good shape, they're in the right races. So that is a mark of a stable inform now, which is often more significant than longer term stats and trends.
Correct.
And there are quite a few trainers in Cape Town who are very chilly at the moment. And obviously the program's been disrupted. There hasn't been a hell of a lot of racing. So, that's in mitigation. But when you see a guy with like 1 win and 2 seconds from the last 30, problem.
Yep, I agree with you completely. Moving on swiftly to race number 5. It is incentives powered by Hollywood Bets Class 4, fillies and mares, over 1,200 meters. Not the biggest of fields, but we'll still strive to find you the winner. The betting is support for Raffish Trend number 7 from 9 to 2 into 7 to 2. A little bit of support for Cliffscape from 9 to 2 into 4 to 1. 4 to 1 Star World, 5 to 1 Black Erica, 5 to 1 Sing Forevermore, 6 to 1 Oktoberfest, 8 to 1 and better the rest. Phew, they don't really know which way to go themselves in this betting
Yeah, very
market.
open.
Find us.
Very open. Well, 2 of the horses did us a good turn last time. Remember, Oktoberfest arrived at East when I put it up as an each way tickle, and then Cliffscape was punted like there was no tomorrow from 16s into 5s and duly saluted. So, I've obviously got a favorable disposition towards them, but I do respect Raffish Trend. We were chatting about stables in form, and Adam Marcus has really been in excellent form throughout the winter. And this filly has really run some nice races. 3 wins from 9 starts, beat Apra City at its penultimate, and then a good win with a nice come home sectional over Music of the Night. And that was from a wide draw at Durbanville. So it should be upgraded for that achievement. So I do respect Raffish Trend. But the horse that as well as Star World, who I think is going to run a nice race. I think Vaughan Marshall's yard was very quiet through the winter, but ought to start doing better. He's back in town. He'll crank them up and get them ready. So Star World should run nicely. My top pick is Cliffscape. Got a solid figure the last time. Look, the background to this filly, apparently she had knee chips, and I think the surgeries obviously worked well. I think the slightly softer ground should see her to good effect. Canis Pass out of Doma, often mentioned that they're very high percentage combo, one of the highest strike rates in the country. So I think you'll get a good shake with Cliffscape. The penultimate behind Raffish Trend, I don't think you should take that format literally, because that was a somewhat false run race on the 27th of June, and Cliffscape had no chance from the back of the field from a wide draw. So I think it will be close between Cliffscape and Raffish Trend. Star World must definitely go on to, people's main tickets. And Oktoberfest has got a bit to make up on the figures, but if she runs back to the form that she showed to Dame of Tricks towards the end of last year, then she ought to be very competitive. So those are my 4 horses, 4, 2, 6, and 7. But I might have committed a fatal error
I might be
because
wrong.
I have left out Andrew's value play. Maybe it will come back to haunt me. I'll be really intrigued, my man. What has made you follow Sing Forevermore?
I just thought, like he raced, a lot of these horses have had a few starts. They deserve to. They're 4 years old, 5 years old. But this young 3-year-old filly, done nothing wrong on debut. Nice education at 66 to 1. Joshua Solins on board. Then Aldo De Mayo got on board, was backed from 4 to 1 into 2 to 1. Jumped out, simple as you like, sat just off them, produced at the right time, course and distance win, drawn 1 now, carrying 50 and a half, getting a lot of weight from most of the field. Oktoberfest, I thought won very well last time, beating Lover's Lane. He quickened well from 5 out of 9. But if you look at his course and distance, he's only at 2 places, a third and a fourth from 5 starts at Kenilworth. So,
Yeah.
he's had a few chances. Cliffscape, another one that throws in some mediocre runs and then seems to have a trot. If you look back to January and February last year, had a third, a second, and then bang, bang, 2 wins with money on beating Una the Unicorn. Again, I mean, just behind Rafi's Trend at Durbanville, I do believe Kenilworth, seven runs at the track for a win in 3 places. I could be on the wrong one in the stable from the backyard. Aldo De Mayo has chosen to ride this. I know he can't ride number 1 because I
Mm.
saw he was +1 already earlier doors. Star World, I'm not sold on. 3 starts at cover course and distance, not a place. 5 starts at the track, not a place. Maybe she's improving and she finds her feet at Kenilworth, but with what we've seen, I'm going to have to give that a swerve. Rafi's Trend deserves to be favourite. Solid form out of his last 8 starts, 3 wins and 3 places. And then the other 2 was slight. One was 6th and one was 9th. I mean, and
Yeah.
Marisburg Memory, one of my old-time favourites. I don't think she will get the pace that she needs to run in a race like this, to win a race like this, even though she raced much more handy last time, which is quite interesting. I've gone for the one that's got the least miles on the clock, carrying the low weight, and I'm just think I did like her win when she beat odds and evens, and hopefully she can come forward from that. And I think you might even get a bit bigger. There might be money for something. The betting just doesn't seem right at this stage. It's too tight. Something's going to give. And I mean, I saw his yesterday at Quebec. Terminate, I think his name was. Drift from 5-1 second favourite was 25-1 at the jump. I mean,
Yeah.
the markets have been very volatile, and I think we've mentioned this a few times.
Yes. Yes.
So, I mean, a tough race, but I've gone for a bit of value each way on number 1, Sing Forevermore, even though
Yeah.
it could be the wrong one in the stable. Of veterinary.
Fair enough. A plausible case, as you say, with the lightweight and scope to improve and possibly favorably drawn towards the inside. So yeah, I think exotic players should probably spread a bit here because there are lots of imponderables.
And we get on to the 6th race, Future Racing Middle Stakes, back to the 1200 meter mark. The betting is Objet d'Or, 4-1 into 5-2, Chichilian, 4-1 into 7-2, and then the drifters come. Pump It Up's drifted out to 5-1. Unbaldi is 7-1, 7-1 Berries Boogie, 10-1 and better the rest. I won't beat about the bush. My arrow in this race, I thought best bet on the card for me, Objet d'Art. Number 9, draw 9, Keegan de Melle on board. Even though quite close on his last run with Chichilian, they've taken the blinkers off Chichilian, maybe to sharpen it up. They were bumper cars the last time the two of them met. They got in each other's way. Course and distance, he's run 4 times, 2 wins and 2 seconds. Storm, the form is there. I'm not really worried about the draw because he does come from slightly off them. So I think Keegan will place him in the right place. Of the rest, Babylicious, one of those that was really highly thought of. And for me, I just can never catch her right. I mean, she's held on a couple of runs. I mean, she has been running against better. They thought she was good enough to take up to Natal for the season. So course and distance is quite decent. 7 runs, 2 wins and 3 places. Bongani on board. I think we'll be in the trifectas and quartets. Pump It Up, you can maybe tell us more about that. Berry's Boogie is held by Unbel D. I wasn't sold on Unbel D, so I can't be sold on Berry's Boogie. Probably the main danger again, Objet d'Art's boxing partner, Chichilian from the last start, Aldermeyer plus a half, K is now 59. I just think Objet d'Art's stable, banging form, Keegan de Melle on board, and that's my arrow for the day. I think it's a trappy race meeting, but I thought the best value on the day and the best chance of winning was number 9, Objet d'Art for me.
I'm with you there, but I'm with you. I think potentially a very smart sprinter. A really nice speed figure last time, passed on adjusted final times. But what was really impressive was the way in which he quickened up. 22.1 seconds. He went and fetched Chichilian, ran significantly faster for the for the final quarter. And I think that, is the sort that with further progress could be running in state races through the summer. So I'm with you as well. I'm just a tiny bit concerned about being drawn 9 because he'll probably get dropped out and have to come around or through them. But I think with clear passage, Keegan de Miller is really riding lights out around the country at the moment. He's riding very well and confidently. So assuming he gets the breaks, and I think Objet de Art will run them all down. And because that closing section was so much faster than Chichilian, I don't really see him as the main danger. Instead, Justin Snaith's 2 runners, Pump It Up and Un Beldi. Un Beldi carried its speed further than anticipated last time because prior to that, his best form was over 5 panels. And suddenly he went all the way in soft ground over 1200 when he beat King Regent. And that was a good performance, but he does now go up 9 kilograms in the weights. But Unbel D will be the horse probably to run down. And then the one that does have a finishing burst, which might not be quite as swift as Objet Arts, but nevertheless, it could be telling, and that's Pump It Up. Now, look at that run to Jet Force, albeit over a mile in April. Of course, Jet Force ran second in Grade 1s and won a Grade 2 sprint in
the
gravel. Yeah. So I think Pump It Up, could be dangerous. Very lightly raced, but if he's in good nick after nearly 2 months off track, and that most recent start to our old friend Gold Jaboski was also a very good one. He closed ground really, really sharply. So for me, it's between Objet d'Art and Pump It Up with Unbel D next best. You were chatting about Babylicious. I note that they now put a tongue tie on because it has got a bit of a history of gurgling and gargling and choking up and breathing problems. She's a very, very classy mare. So, yes, I think so. That's for sure. So it may be, one to use underneath in exactas and trials. But I'm with you, Objet d'Art, to confirm that he's a really smart sprinter in the making.
Cool. We'll move on to race 7, which is the Lucky Fish Monopoly Live B Stakes, 1400 meters. The betting race 7, Witch Hazel, 6 to 4 or 15 to 10 into 13 to 10. Mana and Matu, 7 to 2. Absolutely yes, 7 to 2. 10 to 1 and better the rest. Take it away, Marcus.
Witch Hazel is my strike for the day. Look, he is moving up in class, and he's trying a slightly different trip, over 1400, but very, very impressive since he moved down to Cape Town. I think that was an inspired decision by the Woodruff Yard to relocate this Hawam gelding. He had very good form on the high field, linked horses like African Pride and Grand Empire, particularly split the 8s. And then he's come down here to take advantage of the softer surface and pulverize Madrarua. And then particularly impressive, both in terms of the speed figure and that finishing fraction when beating Lyrical Gangster. And that form has been frank because Lyrical Gangster hasn't stopped winning since and arrived safe last week. So very strong credentials. Should get the run of the race. Drawn 2. Callan Murray's a sharp tactical rider. So yeah, for me, Witch Hazel has got very persuasive credentials. Menta Emanu, I think, will get a nice trip. Racing Handy from draw 4 and could keep going. He'll have to be run down. But to me, the main foe that Witch Hazel faces is absolutely yes. Won the Langerman last year and has run some really good races subsequently to All the Rage and Gold Jaboski and even to What a Fortune. Problem with this horse. Yes, correct. That's right. Back in September 25. Absolutely. Only problem with this horse is he's a bit of a tearaway. So he does tend to pull and he's run himself into the ground a couple of times. But if he gets away on the short run in without wasting too much energy early, and there are indications that JP van der Merwe gets the best out of this horse. So I am a bit afraid of Absolutely Yes as the proven class horse at this level, but I'm tipping Witch Hazel to improve past it and win with Mentor and Manu as a backup. So that would be my 1, 2, 3. But interested to hear your take on things.
Yeah, no, witch hazel's thrived since coming down to the coast, like most Gautengers do when they do come down on their vacations in December and January.
Yeah.
He's done nothing wrong. I mean, he's improved. I mean, he's been pleasing to the eye as well. Drawn two, will have the run. We'll get the pace in the race. There's a lot of pace
Yep.
in this race. I mean, Absolutely Yes can tear off, not wanting to, but it does tear off on occasions,
Yep.
carrying 61.5. And the speedster, It Is My Time, with
Mm,
Kabela Machanyami on board, drawn
mm,
6. I mean, I think that has to lead. I mean, only
yes.
never once not led. I
Yes.
just think he's a tearaway, and he will probably set up the race for a few. And again, I think he can escape. He might be one of those that can escape. I love the run behind Chasing the Rainbow when he was held up that day, funnily enough, the only time he's been held up.
Yeah.
And another one that I thought had a mess. I'm not sold on Money at Manu. I can never
Yeah.
catch this horse right. I'm just one of
Yeah.
those horses meant to it Manu. It's one of those
Yeah.
horses that if I like it, it gets beat. I don't like it. It runs cracking races. I mean, also has run against very good horses. Happy Verse, Chasing the Rainbow, a couple of times. Engin Quila, I think, came out and ran a better race the other day. And the other one that I'm going to include in trifectas and quartets, there's a horse called Prometea. Keegan de Miller
Mm,
rides.
mm,
Course and distance form is very, very solid. Seven times at the course and distance, a win and 4 places, carrying 61.5, just behind Major Master last time. Also run against much, much stronger. Second run after arrest. Been off the last couple of runs. I'm not sure what has happened. He's an old boy. Maybe the legs aren't as what they used to be. I mean, we've had quite a lot of rain before, but it seems to have got a bit better. Maybe the sting out of the ground more than the yielding or the heavy shoots. And one that I've been including in everything is number 1, Prometea. But I think they've got to, I'm with you, they've got to
yeah.
pick up their hooves to run, to beat Witch Hazel, who has done nothing wrong since coming to Cape Town. And if you look past Witch Hazel, I think you might struggle. So my 2 roughies in the race, to include trifectas, would be It Is My Time, number 6 from the McLachlan Yard, and number 1, Prometeur from the Vaughan Marshall Yard. That's how I see the
Well,
race. I mean, not so. Again, I'm not sure. Something's going to happen in the market. I mean, there has been money for Witch Hazel already. One of these two, Mana and Manu, and Absolutely Yes, I think is going to go a much, much bigger price
yeah.
and on the day. And there doesn't seem to be much depth below that. I think Witch Hazel could start evens if none of the other two are fancied.
Yep. Yep.
And let's hope both our arrows come home on the day.
Yeah.
We
Fingers.
Moving on to the lucky last. Hollywood's Bright Future Class 4 over 1,600 meters. The betting is Cedar Point 5-1, 5-1 Captain's Alliance, 6-1 Clark Griswold, 6-1 Bonelli, 8-1 Rockin' and Rolling, 10-1 and Better the Rest. Oof. I
Did
just
feel this. This is a very challenging end to the program.
I wasn't sure. I really struggled in this race I really struggled. I just gone over it a couple of times. I found a roughie that I'd like to include, number 3, Ignite the Fire, course and distance winner, carrying 62.5 though, drawn 3, Andrew Fortune. I've liked a few of those that he's not riding. I mean, he's been running in much stronger. He ran behind Wish List, which was very disappointing. And then he ran his last race behind Objet d'Art, solid form. Give him a squeak. Then Captain's Alliance deserves to be up there at favourite. I prefer that to Cedar Point. I like to run behind Waluya Yamoni and the decent runs behind Blind Date. I mean, course and distance, a win and a place from 6 starts, slightly worrying. Sean Veal riding well. Benelli, an improver from the Candice Bashard. Aldo de Meyer rides. Only had 7 stars for 2 wins and 2 places. Could be really anything. I wasn't sold on the favourite, Cedar Point. coming out of Stallgate 13. I know there's a run behind. They all run together behind Blind Date and Miami Summer. The form crosses quite a lot here. I mean, Captain's Alliance. There's so many cross forms. I did give number 11 Clark Griswold. I know you do like this, a big chance, but I was slightly and the Miami Summer form line I think must have a big chance. But drawn 11, you can tell us more about that. Another one to throw
Remember we had Andrew. Remember we had an Eck and J, and
back
you
in J.
came out on top there with Miami Summer
Miami
from a
Summer.
late rushing Clark Griswold. It was nice exact, huh? But you got the one on top. Well played.
Maybe it's your turn. And then I would include Groovejet in bigger quartets and trifectas. But sometimes races do stump you. And as you say, my short list of numbers is about 12 of them. My short list would be Ignite the Fire number 3, number 5, Captain's Alliance, 6 Bonelli, and 11 Clark Griswold. But maybe you can shed some more light. Maybe your ratings do throw something up here, or
Mm.
you've seen something that I might have missed. Away you go, Marcus.
Yeah, look, I am going with Clark Griswold, despite the wide draw. He'll need all the favors to get through in time, but he does have a very powerful turn of foot. He got underway late behind Miami Summer, and he emerged with honor in defeat. I thought on that occasion, so I'm willing to give him another chance, but obviously he'll need plenty of good fortune from a wide draw, and he's now carrying 62. But as a middle pin, around sixes, I think he's worth an each way tickle. And the other horses that marked were horses 5, 6, 13, and 2. So 5 is Captain's Alliance, who's got solid credentials. I don't like that one win from 16 starts. That low strike rate is of concern, but on collateral form, must go in. Bonelli is a stable companion to Clark Griswold, and I think is a way above average 4-year-old. And I think he also ties in on that blind date form line. I think he should go nicely. And then Cedar Point, the draw is an issue, but big field, they might go true pace. And in Craig Zack, you've got probably one of the best waiting jockeys around. So Cedar Point comes into the reckoning. His speed figures are quite competitive compared to Clark Griswold. And then talking about trips, the type of run that a horse can expect in transit. Number 2, Rocking and Rolling, I think should get a really saloon passage from draw 2 with all the speed around it. And Gareth Wright should be able to settle just off the speed. And those last 2 runs were not too shabby behind Marcus Aurelius, and then when staying on behind Soho Heartthrob. So at a price, Rock and Rolling is worth throwing into exotics. But I'm going to try and finish off with a flourish with Clark Griswold. I think it's very, very well bought by the Bass family. Of course, they trained Horizon, who is struggling to make much of an impact as a sire. So the Basses were able to pick this one up for just 20 sticks, and he's very capable.
Yeah.
Of course, at this class 4 level, maybe he can put forth another good effort.
I agree with you completely. I mean, lightly raced, has every chance. Just on the slighter side, it's nice to see that Antondile is now getting the chance in Cape Town. He's a hard-working jockey, a solid jockey.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see that Candice has started using him both in Natal, and he's flying down to ride in Cape Town, which is great. He had a couple of winners for them last week. He's had a few winners
Yes,
for Natal. And I mean, he got beaten on one on Sunday, which was a bit unlucky. Ran second, but I think he's a very solid rider. And let's hope other trainers take cognizance and start giving him more chances as well. I mean, I think he's
he
a
did well.
solid rider.
Absolutely. He did very well. I think we chatted about it on the last pod, that Kenilworth is a tricky track to ride when the wind is blowing or when the track is soft. And he coped admirably. He really did well last week. And maybe he'll
Improve
become
on it.
a presence here at the local tracks.
good luck
solid
to him
rider.
when he hits that first real southeaster as he turns the corner one time, and he opens up the gap opens up and he hits that southeaster and starts going
Yeah,
sideways and backwards at an alarming rate.
yeah.
Yeah, but
I
that's
must,
good.
Andrew, I've been watching a lot of races recently with Carl Nisius, legendary jockey. He's involved in mentoring the young jocks and helping with strategic advice and career coaching. And he's just got so much wisdom and experience to impart. And it's fascinating watching races with him and hearing, his special insights into race riding, pace judgment, things that you can do in a finish when it gets pretty tight. So it's like just decades of expertise that he conveys, and it really it adds to my enjoyment watching races. And I know that he's proving a huge help to certain youngsters that he's been mentoring.
As his Felix could see,
Yeah,
he's our top riders have. It's glad to see that they've carried through and started helping the youngsters. I think we are rated as probably one of the best jockey academies in the world, and everybody wants to come and ride in our academies. And I think the key thing for them, all the top jockeys have always said pace. Pace is the key in a race. That makes or breaks a race a lot of
yeah,
time. But a
absolutely. And you're
traffic
right.
card tomorrow, and let's
Yeah.
hope we've found a few winners and pointed people in the right direction. Thank you, Mark, once again. Thank you, viewers. Stay safe and be lucky. I'd rather be lucky than good looking. Some of us are blessed with both. What can I say?
Shut, Andrew. And lots of fun. Hopefully, as you say, we found a few live ones tomorrow, and then we'll reload. I believe there's racing over the weekend in
Yeah.
in Cape Town.
So we'll reload again. I just also,
Yeah,
viewers and people who watch racing, there are a lot of tools out there. So just go. You can watch reruns of races and also go back and watch the horses, the baby races, the juvenile, or not juvenile races, the races where we have a lot of first timers this week. Just take a bit of time and watch those again and put some horses in your black book because often they do throw up a few horses for the black book, the horses where
yeah,
there's a lot of first timers, races with a lot of
yeah.
first timers. But
What?
interesting race.
What? Yeah,
Sorry, Mark.
absolutely. Yeah, watching races is a real art. Obviously, I tend to sort of crunch numbers and do my speed figures and my pace ratios and so on, and that's a valid approach too. But having a good eye and being able to interpret what has happened in races with a view to following those horses in the future when they get the right setup is also a fun and legitimate way to unearth some potential winners. So definitely, the resources are there. I mean, that's where we're really blessed now. You can easily watch replays, through various sites, whether it's form grids or Gallup sites that I check out, and you can watch all the reruns, and that sometimes the eye reveals stuff that the data doesn't.
Correct. And also, it's also a lot of the podcasts with the trainers are also insightful on occasions.
Yeah,
And we must always remember that these are animals.
yeah,
They things can happen overnight, might not eat up whatever,
mm,
might have woken up with a zest in their step on the day. And that's why we do get outsiders and that. It's, uh, it's not always skullduggery, as a lot of people when an outsider wins, skullduggery this, skullduggery that. I just think they are animals, and we've got to take cognizance of that. And let's hope the form eventually doesn't lie. The form does rise, and hopefully we can point people in the right direction. Enough
cool.
waffling now. People need to get to their days, enjoy themselves. Thank you, Mark. Have a
Pleasure.
wonderful day. Speak to you
Likewise, Andrew.
Friday.
All the best, eh?